And we're back. Game number 2 of what is going to be our final regular season series. And a lot on the line once again. If you're just tuning in, RoX just ran Team Liquid over completely, sub 25 minutes. The time it took for them to get to notch that game 1 win. That puts them 1 win away from not just taking the series, but more importantly, securing themselves a place in our playoff picture. And we're going to have more information about that being released in the near future, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But as of right now, Alliance, the one team to already be knocked out and the loser of this series, out of postseason contention as well. So Liquid has to get back on track very, very quickly. I'm your host, Aaron A.C. Chambers. Thanks for being here with us. And, of course, welcome in once again, Trout, lending his insight and analysis, as he always does, here on the Western Challenge. But, yeah, honestly, I think it just comes down to draft, man. I think RoX just kind of rocked them completely in terms of draft and in terms of execution of their composition.
Yeah, I think their draft was better. I didn't think that Liquid's draft was bad. There were question marks about a 1 Wraith King, but it can work. You just have to win early on. You have to kind of snowball. And whenever you say you have to snowball, it's kind of you're running on a thin line there.
Right.
So there's the Wraith King again. Probably not a 1 because they already have the Mirana showing, so it's probably going to be a 4 with Wraith King. This seems to be a lot more popular, a lot more stable, and has a lot more success with it. Mm-hmm. But I think, and I mentioned this early on, or at the end of the last game, was the rotations of Goblak and Yol were just so on point. Like everywhere they went was perfect. They saw that the supports on Liquid were rotating, and they just followed them around. Then they also got the level 1 gank onto the Shadow Fiend mid, which also helped out the puck as well to just get a better time. And you saw when he was 37 and like 20 for his creep score, Demon wasn't doing bad, but he was like 20 and 12 or something like that. So Puck was just dominating his lane, whereas normally 1v1 straight up SF I think should actually do better than Puck just simply because he has the jungle to work with, especially on Radiant.
Team ban.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. And I mean, it comes down to what we've talked about. We can see Liquid wisely banning the tree as well as the Lycan away from RoX this time, but it's exactly what we were talking about leading up to that game, and what pretty much is just the known quantity of a Treant Protector is you have to do what they did. You have to roam him, you have to apply pressure, you have to make sure that he pays off big and wins you at least 1 lane, and arguably he may have won them 3 lanes, depending on how you want to look at it. At least 2 though. But and what that tends to translate to is like, okay, you did well in the laning phase. Now you have a hero who completely erases chip damage on tier 1 towers. It was like, 18 minutes, maybe even later, that they actually brought down their first tier 1. And that was literally as RoX.KIS was gearing up to push their tier 3s. Like, I mean, it just, that's what a tree does. So RoX getting the job done and using the hero to its full potential. They're going to have an Invoker and Shadow Demon this time. Liquid, though, getting the Mirana, very safe, very standard pick. And the Wraith King out as well. Yeah,
actually, that was one thing I was going to touch on last game, but I didn't get a chance to, is that the ways to really counter a tree, so to speak, if you can, are lots of like damage over time heroes. Like they had Darkseer or Venomancer just to counter the living armor. Mm-hmm. But also just push towers early, because if you don't push towers early, it just becomes that much more difficult to push them later.
Right.
They will pretty much never go down if tree's on point, and if you don't snowball and push those towers early. But they had no pushing heroes. The only one was maybe Shadow Fiend. Could do it on his own in mid, but that was about it. Maybe Venge if he gets more levels up into its Vengeance aura, but that wasn't happening in this given circumstances. So they needed a better pushing lineup, I feel. Yeah.
Not completely on board with you, man. And, well, I mean, we can only break it down so much. Truth of the matter is, a lot of things went wrong for TL, and a lot of things went well for RoX. Their execution was just better. But, again, and I'm not trying to make excuses. It's just, Liquid is at this stage with only, 55 days or something like that, maybe even less, or 50-some days until TI. They're running out of time to figure out exactly who they are as a team. And they're definitely in search of that identity. So you have to understand why they would experiment. And again, you just have to count the cost. I mean, you're going to have games whenever you're playing against very good teams like RoX, who, even though they're going to be missing the main event, have nonetheless proven themselves to be one of the best in the world. You're going to get punished for that. But anyway, really like RoX's lineup already. Love Leshrac and Shadow Demon. It's a nice little throwback to my old Chinese Dota casting days, going back to like G League and G1 Champions League, and And in the heyday of that LGD int squad that was very, very good, they used to run a lot of Shadow Demon, Leshrac, and Lifestealer. Certainly don't think the LS is going to be on the menu now, but you can do a lot with it. You can pressure lanes. Your roam is insanely effective in terms of pressuring mid or elsewhere. You can also run it aggressive if you want, and you can even really throw a curveball and do something like we've seen Cloud9 do and farm that Leshrac. You can actually go ahead and grab another support to go with it. You have the follow-up stun for disruption, and yeah, just make Leshrac a 1, and it actually can work out really well so long as he's able to stay alive and able to at least get up some defensive items, BKB, Bloodstone, whatever.
Yeah, I like Leshrac. I think he's a support that a lot of teams don't like, and I know that certain players will straight up say that Leshrac sucks and he's just bad. I think he's actually pretty good, and he can play a role in many lineups. I'm actually kind of scared that they pick him into what they've already been showing here for Liquid, being the Mirana and Wraith King. Leshrac, he likes targets that aren't mobile and are easy to stun, even without the setup. Like, the setup is nice, but you don't want to always rely on that, just because it's not always going to be there. And not to mention that these are some heroes, Mirana, Wraith King, and out Rubik, that can pretty much punish Leshrac because he's got nothing. Like, he's got really no escape mechanism. This is a terrible, terrible stun, one of the worst in the game as far as trying to hit it. So you can't really rely on that and, like, I'm going to stun him and run away. And Wraith King, if he just gets a blast on him, like, Leshrac's dead if Shadow Demon's nowhere by. So they're going to need a lot of skill on these supports, and I know that they have it because based off the last game, they can pull it off. But it's difficult. I will say it's going to be hard for Leshrac to play against these heroes so far from Team Liquid.
Oh no, I agree. It's and it is going to end up being a support Leshrac. So I always kind of secretly hold out hope. I like seeing weird stuff. But yeah, I mean, they can run this. However, I mean, with the gyrocopter pickup, one would imagine they're going to be trying to just defensively try lane, get their gyro a good start, and all that fun stuff. They are going to be able to roam very, very effectively, especially if that's going to be a mid-morphling. Mid-morphling can be punished by heroes like this with an invoker there with Cold Snap as well. So they're going to have to really dedicate a lot of time to making sure the morph stays up and running. Gyrocopter, though, is a hero, and I would just like to hear your opinion on it. Like, there are some teams that still run him somewhat. I mean, he's kind of like a poor man's Luna. Like, he gives you the same kind of, like, late game, you're a monster. You build things like Satanic and BKB, and you just feel unkillable. Why do you think it is that he is really not as popular as he once was going back even 6 months ago?
Well, they nerfed the flat can, I believe, right? It used to be 20-second cooldown, and then they nerfed it to 30, which is a huge freaking nerf, like monster nerf, because that was the spell that really made Gyro the hero that he was in the late game, and then they completely nerfed it by
5 seconds remaining.
that 10 seconds. It's actually a huge nerf, so that was probably the biggest reason why. I still think he's actually a really good hero. Only that you go a certain build, and I saw Silent doing this build. It's like, fuck yeah, because it's such a good build. He goes like phase boots, drums, Aquila, and like Sange and or just like fighting items, and maybe BKB.
BKB, yeah, has to
but just fighting items like drums, Aquila, and then BKB, and just go fight, like constantly go fight, because he fights really, really well in the early mid game, and he's okay in the late game, not as good as he once was, but his strength was always, to me, the early mid game. So as long as you build him to that, I think he actually is very effective. I'm not the biggest fan of the Helm of the Dominator, go stack the Ancients a ton, because like, why not pick a Luna then, or why not pick a harder carry? That to me doesn't seem like, you can do it, but it doesn't seem to be, I feel, the best way to play him. I mean, I could be wrong. That's just my opinion on it, but the way that Silent built it is the way that I really like it.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, you just kind of echoed what I was saying with the last part regarding, Helm of the Dominator. At that point, he's just a poor man's Luna. He gives you something very similar, but in general, if you want to play that, there are better options available. Even truly hard carries like Anti-Mage has really been seeing a resurgence in popularity just because of how quickly he can develop. But anyway, looks like we're ready to go. Both 5-man squads complete. It was RoX that wound things up with the Visage, and this actually makes me really interested to see how they're going to end up running these lanes. It's going to be BZZ on the Invoker. Solo is going to be on the Gyrocopters. So, yeah, they might end up doing something a little bit interesting here. We'll keep an eye on that for now. But Liquid, going to have Demon on that Tidehunter. We'll be Koikva farming the Morphling, no surprise there. Bulba's going to be on the Mirana with Wraith King played by Way2. And, but yeah, with BZZ on the Invoker and Solo on the Gyro, I expect we're going to see some aggressive pressure here.
Isn't Sadoy their solo player, like their offline player? And he's on the Visage.
Yep.
Interesting. I wonder if they're gonna swap and maybe swap him to Shadow Demon to go solo. I haven't seen Visage solo unless it's like a troll game from Arteezy in a pub, and he goes Maelstrom first.
What I think we might see here is going to be a potentially a 3 support of aggressive tri lane, and they're going to end up sending BZZ and solo into mid or the solo safe, you know, depending on what matchups they anticipate and how they feel like that's going to go down. One would imagine it'll be solo going into the solo safe. That would make the most sense based on what we see so far. But yeah, I think they can do this. They're going to have great setups. It's going to be a great way for them to keep pressure on and to make sure that mid can just be won by BZZ. And, you know, if it is a mid Morphling, granted, they could change it up and do something different. But that should be a matchup that he should be able to win. He won't dominate it, but he should be able to win it. But there's going to be so much kill potential out of the Visage, the Shadow Demon, and the Lesh if they decide to go in that direction.
Yeah, I'm really curious what Liquid's doing here too, as far as their heroes and player assignments. Like now, Bulba's playing the Potom, and Quakeva's playing Morphling, and then Demon's back on what I assume is off lane Tide. Could be, I don't know. They could be doing something different.
They like to run a core Tide actually. You'd be like surprised.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do it. And core, I don't mean necessarily as a quote unquote one position. They just really like to prioritize Tidehunter getting a lot of early farms. So there's a lot of ways they could play it with Demon there.
So possibly he could be soloing short or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just very curious about this lineup from RoX.KIS, like how they're going to lane. I don't know if I'm really going to be a fan if they go aggressive. Like it's kind of if they go aggressive into Wraith King, Rubik, Potom or something like that, I feel like they're going to get crushed. They could have the potential to win just because Shadow Demon is such a damn good hero in any like offensive or defensive tri lane. But if they mess up, if they screw up once, I feel like Liquid's just going to own them. So I'm very, very curious to see how they lane this and how it unfolds in the laning phase.
Yep, we'll find out in just a moment, guys. If you're just tuning in, quick pause as we've just loaded in. Apparently, Demon is having some seat problems. Hopefully, he'll get that squared away. And we'll be underway very, very soon. This is game number 2 of this best of 3, our final best of 3 of the regular season. It's win or you're in for both of these teams, lose and go home. And RoX, well, they only need to win one more game to secure their place in the postseason. Liquid, well, they're going to have to win 2 in a row. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves like Alliance on the outside looking in. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers. Trout's the other guy dropping the knowledge bombs on the other side of things. Make sure you check us out across your various social media networks. I'm at AC on Twitter. It's ACTV everywhere else, YouTube, Twitch, and elsewhere. And Trout, where can they find as much as they possibly can about you?
Oh, yeah. So, yes, it's at TralfDota for my Twitter, and my stream is twitch.tv/Tralf. And perfect timing because the game is underway.
There you go. All plugged out and ready to see this laning phase take shape. And, yeah, I'm interested. I really want to know what RoX is going to do here. They're going to end up doing something boring. It's going to make me sad. Sadoya is going. Seriously, you're just going to run the off-lane Visage and that's it? Like, you're not going to do anything fun? I hate you. I hate you so much.
I think this is smart, though. I don't think that they would have much success going aggressive. I think they have to go safe, which is fine because even though you're thinking, oh, I got to fight with Gyro, like, you still need core items up on him.
Right.
To fight. You can't just run in there and hope for the best. Like, you need something on him first. But what I'm really curious is, we got an offlane Visage, man. Like, what the hell?
He'll make it work. Better get that good block, Sadoy. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate this. I mean, he's a decent range hero. He can feel, even though he was nerfed a time or two and lost out on how tanky he could feel, I mean, depending on the build he goes and so on, he is going to feel fairly survivable, all things considered. I mean, given that he's a support in a solo lane.
I don't know, man. I feel like if he gets caught, he's dead. It's a Mirana tri-lane with double setup stuns.
Yeah.
And they spot him out here, too. I feel like Bulba should just walk over here now and maybe get a kill. And like, Sadoy, what are you doing? If there was a Potom there right now, he'd be dead. Because he has no vision uphill. He can't see these supports that are sitting up here. If Potom gets in range, he's dead.
Here we go. TC.
What?
Stuns him out. Arrow. Shot. Connects. First blood. Liquid.
What is he doing?
Hope the haste.
There?
Really wanted the haste rune, man. Really wanted that haste rune. So, way to secure his first blood, and I'm right there with you. That was just kind of bizarre.
What the hell? Like, I don't know. The rune didn't even spawn yet. He didn't even. Here's the thing. This is a general rule, I should say, for almost every off lane, especially a weak, like one that can't really do anything after you get stunned in that position. is if you're pretty sure actually action and mid, it just looks like some harassment. But if you're pretty sure they're going safe lane with a tri lane, they're always going to check that top rune. Always. Like, unless they're bad and they just don't check it, which they always should. So you shouldn't even be there checking it unless you're like a bounty hunter who can just get the rune safely.
Yep.
Other than that, you should concentrate on completely blocking your lane to get in lane position so where you can get a free level 2. He didn't do that. He died. And now look at where the lane is. He's not even going to get level 2. So this is a very, very bad start for RoX.KIS and namely Sidoy.
Yep. Way 2 there to zone him out. See a lot of movement from both teams. RoX is going to go ahead and smoke. They were anticipating someone in bottom, but looks like they're not even trying. They've just got Demon going to work in the jungle. We'll talk about that in a minute. The buff to Anchor Smash making that quite viable. So nothing too untoward from either team. Yol leading the way. Goldblack's right behind them. They're going to try to make a run on Quake, but there's a disruption to lead. Goldblack right there. Sunstrike is there as well. Kaboom! He is morphing straight. Let's see if they've got the DPS. They don't. He's able to waveform back to the tier 1, and here comes Way 2 just to make sure everything calms down and goes back to orderly. But yeah, we didn't even really talk that much. I mean, the setup for Split Earth is nice, but whenever you have Sunstrike as well, that's actually deadly in any lane.
Yeah, it's good. They can't kill this Morphling right now, though. Like, they need more points into Sunstrike before they actually get enough damage. I was actually going to think about those. Like, it sounds nice on paper, but I actually don't think the damage is good once you get Morph and Waveform. If you have the mana up on the Morphling, you can't kill him. Unless you get, like, 4 levels into Exort or something like that.
Little pre-runing from Demon. Guessed wrong. I don't know that he was pre-runing so much as just rotating. Sidoy will get himself a double damage rune. Not going to help him a lot as he's going to still feel just as, like, such a squishy target as he did before. But we're seeing a lot of attention being paid to this middle lane by both sides. We've seen basically every support in the game roam through this mid lane at some point. Currently 3 are here from RoX, just trying to zone Quakeva out and make sure he gets nothing. How do you feel about this? You think it's the right call, dedicating this much pressure to it?
No, I don't. I think they should be killing this Tide and keeping him out of experience. Tide's getting completely free levels now, and now he's getting free farm too because the Anchor Smash is really effective. He's got boots now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with how RoX.KIS is playing this. And now they're going top. So it's like, why not just start top? And why not pick a different hero other than Visage? I don't know. This just seems very, very weird. They had such a good plan and good draft and good rotations last game, but not the same this game.
Yep, and this is what I thought we would see. Yol going to be hit with the arrow following the stun. Split Earth off the mark. Yol's going to end up taking a spill. And now Liquid trying to track another one down. Hellfire Blast off cooldown. Goldblack going to be number 3 as Liquid off to a much better start here in game 2. And yeah, the wonky lanes and a lot of these rotations for RoX are just not paying for themselves at all. Now at bottom,
in trouble.
Yep, he's going to be disrupted. Here comes Solo. That's going to be Rocket Barrage level 2. And he'll end up taking a spill. So finally, RoX makes it on, and that's a pretty good kill for them, actually. In mid, a lot of back and forth. Quakeva is a double KO. As Invoker and Morphling both end up dropping to each other. That was kind of weird.
Yeah, good for Morphling, though. He got the experience first, so a win there for Liquid. Except they did lose the Tidehunter bottom. I'm not sure what Demon was doing down there, but that was a really fast TP from Yol bottom, and I don't think he was expecting that in time. Could see a wraparound smoke here up top lane.
Yep, way 2 in
Goldblack
TC.
level 1.
Poor Goldblack. Split Earth shot. That's going to be on cooldown now. He just put a point into lightning. Not going to matter. Hellfire Blast leads on Sidoy. Arrow there to follow it up. Telekinesis brings him back, and they may get 2 for 1. Goldblack in trouble. TC doesn't have the mana. He will in 2 seconds. It doesn't matter. Auto attacks are good. Oop. There it is. Catches him. Just had come off cooldown. Or actually just had gotten the mana. Now we're actually going to see more engagement here in mid. Yol shows his face. There's a disruption to lead. Cold Snap is there if they want to try to use it, and they will. Quakeva could be in trouble, taking a lot of damage. That's actually well worth it. Trading 2 supports out in the other lane to get a kill on the Morph at this stage is probably about as good as they could have asked for. So they are at least keeping it reasonable, but Liquid continues to just roll things up.
Yeah, I think, though, Liquid are definitely doing much better. Like, they're putting so much damage on this tower. I'm actually surprised they didn't press the issue and just save. They should have saved that seed creep and just tanked the tower a little bit. Way 2 had full HP. I feel like they could have killed that tower, but they wanted to play it safe. That could have been the smarter choice. But this tower will fall nonetheless very shortly here for Liquid, and that'll be a good boost in their gold. Bottom lane, Demon, despite him dying, he's still getting good levels. Like, he's almost level 5, and they did get the kill in the Morph lane, but this is a hero that he doesn't do well in the early game anyway. Like, I feel like you're gonna have to kill him a lot to really set him back.
Yeah, well, it's Koikva too. Koikva, there are just some players who, and Black is another great example of it, who you just like, oh, he's died 3 times in the first 10 minutes. He sure is probably going to have a slow mid-game. Oh, look, it's 18 minutes, and he's the most farmed and has the highest net worth inexplicably. Like, they just somehow hit creeps better than everyone else. And Demon going to be caught with a split earth here in mid. Gives him a buy your leave gush as they just trade blows. But take a look at the CS. A lot of chaos everywhere. Solo, though, is doing remarkably well here on this gyrocopter. He's got 41 CS. That's tops on the board by quite a margin. TC, though, and Waitu looking to go ahead and make something happen in mid. Problem is nobody, or not mid, but top. Problem is nobody's home.
Yeah. He's actually missed, like, very little CS on bottom. Solo's, like, getting every single one. I don't know the exact math, but he maybe missed a couple, but he's doing very, very well for himself. Even though they didn't find anybody up top. Oh, they did find Sadoy.
Yep, came back around.
In time?
No, I don't think they're going to need it. It's going to be shot. Sadoy does dodge it, but yeah, they don't need it. Right-clicked more than enough. That Visage is having a rough one. BZC is coming his way over. He's going to set up the Forge Spirit first very wisely. Now he may end up, yes, he will eat the stun. Follow up, because Liquid wants to press the issue. Bulba has a Sacred Arrow in 1 second. BZC and Yol run right through, and yeah, they're just going to die. He's going to be caught with another Hellfire Blast. And Yol's right there with him.
Both of them. They get both of them. There's a waveform coming up too. Double kill from oh no, 1 kill from Morphling.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a disaster for
This
RoX.KIS
is bizarre. Like, I'm not even sure what they were thinking. Like, they had just seen him die to 3 heroes, so they bring in 1 and run him up first. And yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like it's the exact same, like you said, except in reverse. RoX.KIS just steamrolled Liquid. Liquid is just making Rox look kind of silly right now.
And I would say that Liquid's playing fine. They're playing how they should play it, which is, you know, good. But I feel like RoX.KIS is like doing everything wrong. I don't understand their movements at all.
Yep.
First of all, the lane or the assignments to have Visage top it to begin with was just weird. Like, okay, well, we'll try it out. Maybe he gets some levels because offlane gets levels easier now after that patch quite some time ago. We'll get him some levels, maybe rotate him when we need to. It was kind of weird. But then he died stupidly up at the top rune, and then they just rotated the support's top, and they just died again.
Yep.
So I would say Liquid are playing fine, playing how they should, but RoX.KIS is just making some very, very questionable decisions.
Yep. Again, the bright thing is that their gyro is well farmed, but they're going to need him to come online and make a huge impact before Koikva can catch up and get online. And Koikva's down, but he's not out. He actually ended up roughly breaking even in this mid. It's 32 to 30. He's actually got a lot more denies, though, so I would say even maybe a slight win for him despite all of the pressure. And we can see it's actually the Solo. Giving up a kill he didn't need to give up down at bottom. As overextending and caught by Liquid, who is, like you said, just rotating much better.
Look how much better this 4 Wraith King suits Liquid now, too. He's 3-0-5. TC's all over the map. He's been a part of 80% of their kills here early on. So TC's having a great game. He's almost level 6, and that's when you can really start putting the aggression on. And also Tide. He just dings level 6, too, with his mana boots. So he's got Ravage to deploy as well.
Koikva taking a little bit of harassment here in mid, but he's all right. Now we're going to have a spot out. Way 2. Spotted by Sadoy, who's tossed to the high ground. He's going to try to chase him down. Nope, actually didn't have any support around, so no way to slow him down anymore. Solo, that death's actually kind of a big deal. They're riding on him so much, and he is going the build that you were talking about. Phase boots, Aquila, and drums, it would seem. Very typical stuff. I honestly kind of wish he had built a Midas, though. I feel like this would have been a decent candidate of a game for a Midas.
I'm not the biggest fan of Midas, personally, on Gyro. I don't think he benefits too much from the attack speed early on. Obviously, it helps a bit later, but I feel like he can farm just as fast with flat cannon stacks.
Well, he just scales so well with levels, is the thing. And you end up getting, like, if you want to go fight a lot earlier, you actually just end up getting to a higher level so much more quickly. You get, like, level 2 call down, and it gets kind of dirty.
I'll tell you what I do think is fun is Aghanim's Gyro.
Global.
Them global calldowns.
You know it, man.
He just took out a massive stack, by the way. So despite him dying there, he's got 80 CS at 9 minutes, which is pretty impressive for a short lane carry. Yeah. Obviously, he did have the help from the stacks, but he's got his drums. They can still fix this problem, but it's going to be hard because they have a Ravage to fight against.
Well, take a look at the GPM. He is right up there with that Mirana. His net worth is slightly ahead of Bulba for the moment, but yeah, like you said, they got to fight against the Ravage, and they have to start They have to start fighting soon. And this is going to be a tricky moment for them before the BKBs come out. You know, once BKBs come out, Tide's not nearly as big a threat. But for right now, They need to put pressure on. They can't just let Koikva continue to farm the way he has been, or they're going to end up paying for it desperately. Even though he isn't near the top, he is in good shape. We're actually going to see a death on Tide as they catch him out. Down at bottom now. Here's a rotation that'll be on the BZZ. He's going to be caught behind his own tier 1. Way 2's right there to follow up TC. Telekinetic. Oh, off the mark. Shot it wide. And yeah, they're not coming. BZZ cleaned up as Morphling wave forms through. Looks like they were just happier to go ahead and try to trade away a tower.
I don't think that's the right call. I think if anything, they could have sent like 2 TPs and had 2 people still pushing. And then feel it out. But he lived a long time there in mid. Like, they could have easily turned that if they just had some rotations and help. But I'm looking at the TPs. There's one on Lesh. The one cooldown is for Gyro. And they just didn't even have the TPs on their heroes. So that's kind of a mistake.
Towers collapsing everywhere as tier 1 drops and Koikva's off to the races. Solo dodges an arrow as he TPs in to farm this out. And Bulba decides to go ahead and run away. But, like, if you were calling the shots for RoX right now, what is the ideal timing window you want to hit? Because they have to be really fine with when they decide to fight.
Well, because they have Exort Invoker, I would say it's a little bit later than they have to. If this was like Quas Wex, I'd say they need to fight, and they need to fight now. But because he is Exort, and Exorts just generally scale better in the mid to late game because they have Necro Books, they can take some time, but I think the main thing is they have to be very, very careful about this Ravage. Like, that's going to be the deal breaker here for RoX.KIS. Like, if they're able to come out evenly with Ravages deployed in team fights, then they'll be okay. They just have to be very, very careful with that Ravage. I think that's the biggest thing.
Uncontested tier 1 ends up dropping, but yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's like, well, that's the thing is, you know, whenever I talk about Gyro, I usually refer to him as a peak and valley hero because he's got great abilities. Max level rocket barrage is actually just awful to run into if his positioning is correct. You're talking like 600 plus unmitigated magic damage if it's all unloaded on a single target. So he can rely on things like that to be effective in fights, especially with call down. But then he has to farm his way back into relevancy. He has to get out of the valley that comes with just, you know, heroes picking up items like BKB and so on. So this is going to be maybe some bad news. There's going to be a disruption. Yol ends up cleaned up from behind. Goldblack gets off the split earth, but it doesn't matter. Koikva doing what damage he can. Call down is here. They actually do manage to bring him down. Ravage comes out, catches a bunch, but honestly came out late. Soul Assumption from Sadoy cleans him up from behind. And I am shocked that went as well as it did for RoX. They were all bottled up. And honestly, I don't know why he didn't just Ravage to start. He walked right up to them and was right in front of 4.
He was at like a weird angle, and he like was kind of getting body blocked by something or some kind of hero. Hold that thought. BCC's in a little bit of trouble, gets lifted.
Good splitter.
Great stun there.
Bulba, though, coming in to clean up from behind. Sunstrike's going to be there. There's a Soul Assumption. They do manage to bring down the Visage again. And BZZ trying to hide in the trees. Arrow shot blind by Bulba and connects. That's 15-6. So even though RoX.KIS got a little momentum there, taken away just as quickly as Bulba came in from the flank and cleaned it out.
Yeah, very nice rectifying of that problem. Yeah, Demon, he was like kind of body blocked by stuff, and I think if he ulted, he only would have hit like 1, maybe 2 in illusion or something. So he's like, I'm gonna wait, and then he just used it at the worst possible time. Anyway, so kind of unfortunate, but very nice cleanup kill. And TC is just doing work this game. Like, he is all over the place. Bulba's where he needs to be as well. This draft just suits Liquid a lot better.
Yep, totally agree. 100% agree with you. TC has eyes on Solo, and he's got help across the lane. Looks like Demon doesn't want to give it away quite yet. Halftime on his invis still yet. There's the Courier. Doesn't have any mobility, though. There's going to be the stun as Solo was looking to move, and will deploy his Drums Charge. BZZ is there to maybe help chase him down. There's going to be a call down, and that's going to end up catching the Rubik. Sunstrike's there. There's going to be a disruption, though, that buys a little bit of time. TC should be able to make it away from this. In the meantime, Way 2 will end up dropping. There's the ulti from the Wraith King. Here comes Demon. Demon not going to have Ravage at the call. Solo ends up dying to an Anchor Smash, and now Koikva coming in to clean up this fight. And Koikva is getting way too large. He had a double damage rune there as well.
Yeah.
So 250 damage in auto attack. There's a Blink Dagger now done on the Tide Hunter. Koikva has actually picked up an Ogre Club, so if he wants to go BKB, he's going to have that really, really soon. By at least compared to where you would think he would be at this point. But yeah, Liquid is in great shape.
Double damage on Morphling is one of the scariest heroes to get double damage on because his base damage is so damn high. And when I saw him coming in, I'm like, oh my god, they're all dead. They're all dead. They don't even know it. So Koikva, he looks like he's going straight for a BKB, I would assume, which is, I think, really good because if you look at the lineup of RoX.KIS versus Liquid, Liquid just had him trumped in the late game. Like, it's not even close, I feel. And as long as he can fight now, he's like, if I can fight and win team fights now, I'm going to be able to win them later because it's just the nature of my hero is better than theirs in the late game. So what does he do? He builds a BKB so he can fight now.
Yep, no reason not to.
Now. Yeah. So it's really smart for him. And then, oh, Demon spotted out, but he blinks away. They could have just blown him the F up, but but they thought maybe one more were behind.
Solo, engaged in mid. There's going to be the Gush. Disruptions there, and TC. There's going to be a Ravage, though, that ends up catching both on the high ground. Koikva's there to once again move in. Not even needed that time. Trying to do a little bit of payback damage. It's going to be a stun up to the high ground. Visage Familiars get the stun off as well. But Liquid on the rampage and on the warpath. There's going to be a Sunstrike. Didn't even see where it was headed. They do manage to track down Sadoy at the back of everything. Bulba notching a triple kill now. And was just going to point out, I don't know that he finished it yet, but he was very close. Demon is just going for it, man. Bulba is going to end up having his Maelstrom done after this. Shotgun not enough to bring Golblack down. Now they're going to TP some help in. Koikva is morphing strength already. Yol going to be looking for a disruption. Demon is hanging out over on the edge, has his blink up. Yep, I was going to say, he honestly just about could have gone for a kill on Golblack if he wanted to be really cute. There's the disruption. Managing to catch him out at least for a moment. He's going to go ahead and wait for him to the high ground, has the TP, and they've got eyes on him. Nope, stun too late. So he ends up making it away nonetheless. Liquid, once again, makes it away, just walking between the raindrops, man, and punishing RoX.KIS at every turn. They
also got a tower top, some more levels in farm for both Bulba and Way2 up there. Bulba's got his Maelstrom, BKB finished on Morphling. Ravage is down from their 80, but that's fine. Like, they can even honestly fight without it. So Liquid's just doing everything right this game, it seems. And I just feel like RoX.KIS is just playing this completely differently than last game. Like, last game, the rotations made sense. They were fighting when they knew they could. They knew the limitations of their hero, just not the same this game. Oh my god, I didn't see it, but Rubik stole birds.
Yep, just saw it too.
How does it happen? That should never happen, ever.
Bad management. Ever. And yeah, that's actually huge. For Rubik to be able to summon a couple of familiars is gigantic. And he'll be certainly happy to use those for as long as he possibly can. BZZ. And the rest of RoX now moving towards mid. We've got two heroes down at bottom, perhaps looking to split push that bottom tier 2.
His birds are going to die. Maybe if they're really adamant about this. Attack him. Oh, that's not good. Way2, no.
That's a waste.
Oh, not to mention he just got the birds, but that's 200 gold as well.
Way2 is actually a really good Visage player too. That's kind of the weird thing.
Yeah, you can't just have them dropped like in the middle of a creep wave like that when no one else is around. So. That's unfortunate. Bad bird play. Bad.
Bad bird play. This is what my mother said. Sunstrike. Didn't even see what they were shooting at. But RoX is, they're doing what they can. Problem is they're being split pushed to death now. You get this Maelstrom up on Bulba. He can just sit in the lane and push it over and over again. Hell, he's got a Mjolnir, man. He's going to have a fuel Mjolnir done in no time at all.
Yeah. And he is really farmed.
RoX might have a chance at Koikva here. Yol. Little late on the trigger. Golblack hits the stun. This will be a good kill. One they really needed, but they're going to have to pile them on. More so than just one going to be required. They will have a chance to push this tier 2 bottom. They're going to have to do so into a Tide Ravage if they decide to dedicate themselves to the defense. At the moment, though, looks like they're not all that interested. Solo, though, is farming elsewhere. And, okay, he is going S&Y. I don't know.
This is the build I was talking about. He definitely needs BKB this game, though. Like, I love this build, but he has to get BKB. So it's probably casual Yas into BKB, I would assume, because they can't fight without it. Oh, I missed that, but hopefully you caught it.
Yeah, I got it. Don't worry. It was just Liquid once again doing what they've done all game. They're just they're just abusing RoX, who seem to be very slow in rectifying bad movements. And Demon's playing ultra aggressive, as Demon is wont to do. There was the drum charge expended by Solo, but no follow-up coming. But yeah, just a very nice kill for them. And there was something I was going to say, but obviously I'm just rambling now. So say something smart.
Golblack, he's got double circlet here, going for the triple bracer build on Leshtrack. Tried and true.
Oh, I love it.
We didn't mention, but he's not pointing points in the Edict this game.
No. Seeing that a lot, actually.
Yeah. Well, Lightning Storm did actually get a pretty significant buff. Doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but that little, it's a 75% slow, and it's only for 0.5 seconds, but it does help you and your team to kind of close the gap a little bit because the cast animation for Lightning Storm is so god-awful. It kind of like fixes that problem just a little bit. A tiny little bit, but it's helpful.
Looks like we could potentially have the makings of a fight in mid. Nope, never mind. Liquid's got other things on their mind. Looks like Roshan going to be the target. This is an opportunity for RoX. If they could actually stop this and get a couple of kills and snag this away from them, this would be the catalyst they need to get this game back under control. For the moment, they're down near that 500 gold per minute lead generated mark. So they've got to do something to stop this wagon before it goes completely off the rails. Unfortunately, looks like they're going to be tardy to the party. They either don't know or don't care or just feel like they're not going to be able to challenge it.
Yeah, they can maybe get this. If there's a Blink Ravage quickly enough on Tide, I feel like maybe if Jimmy was like set up for that, they could have maybe fought that because Solo wasn't there. He was top, and he was showing. So could have maybe got some more from that. They trade 2 towers in for Roshan. Not the worst thing for RoX.KIS, all things considered. I think they'll be happy with that because I don't think they had any means to defend that Roshan anyway. So, good trade. If they're able to push Liquid back from this tier 2, then they'll definitely take that. But Liquid's doing a lot of damage right now. Age is up on a Koikva. He's got everything pretty much pumped into agility, so he's hitting like a truck. And he's got another 2,600 gold.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to be able to do here. If Liquid, like, is there a, yeah, there's not a single BKB done on RoX right now. Not a single one. And if they decide to just force a fight and Demon hits a halfway decent Ravage, it's just like, there's just no way I think they can come back from that. But, okay, BKB did just get finished by Gyro, so that's at least a step in the right direction. I hope this is an S and Y and not a Manta style, by the way. Manta style Gyro is awful.
Yeah, I would assume it has to be S and Y. I don't think it matters at this point because here's what I foresee happening. Like, Gyro is going to try to get up in the front to flat cannon and hit some heroes, and then Demon's just going to blink in and Ravage before he gets BKB off, and then he's just going to die. So while BKB is good and necessary...
here we go. Good Visage Familiars. That's going to be a 3-man call down. They end up getting the Wraith King. Koikva did manage to dodge the Meteor, though. And there's a Split Earth as well. Blade Mail spit. What did he got? He actually managed to get Split Earth, so not too bad there. Liquid, though, held on to everything, and they're going to be able to just reset. Didn't even expend their Aegis. The fact that, yeah, because I mean, that was actually about as well as that could have gone. It was really nice micro from Sadoy to catch 3 heroes with the Visage Familiar stuns and set that call down up, but still able to walk away with only the Wraith King ult expended. They're going to move out as smoke now, or under smoke. See if they can find something across the map. There's a DD they might run into.
Split Earth on Rubik is actually really good.
No delay.
Like, because it's one of the, like I said earlier, it's a crappy stun, but it's bad in the sense early on that it's so freaking hard to hit without setups. It does improve with levels, but on Rubik, oh my god, it's like amazing because it's good damage, good stun, very good damage actually, and it's an AoE and it's instant. So very, very nice pickup there from Way 2.
Solo's picked up a Morbid Mask now. So casual Yasha into BKB and now perhaps into a Helm of the Dominator. In the meantime, Demon, who a great game, he's sitting right in the middle of the pack of net worth, but has certainly put it to use. He's got his Blink Dagger, his Arc Boots, and he's on his way to a Refreshers. He's already picked up his Perseverance there. Book 3, in the meantime, though, is done on BCZ. So RoX is down, but they're not completely out yet. They've just got such a hill they got to climb. And now Gold Black going to be lifted in mid. Arrow on the mark, Split Earth. Well shot as well, and that's an easy one.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. He's, like I said, Leshrac was not going to have a good time this game unless they snowballed. These are just, the heroes that he's playing up against are just too easy for them to kill him. So, Solo, he's doing very, very well as far as keeping his farm up. Like, he's right there neck and neck with the Mirana as far as net worth. And Mirana's 7-0-8 on the winning team, and he's neck and neck with the Gyro. So, Solo is definitely finding good farm, and I do agree with this pickup of the Morbid Mask. I think he really needs a Satanic this game. Like, he's really going to need it. So I think that's going to be helpful for him. Can he get it before it's relevant? We'll have to see.
Yeah, Koikva's not exactly a slouch either. He's working on his Lincolns, already has up the ulti orb. And right there in the range of, hold on, Yol with the disruption. And no, that was actually, never mind. It was actually an illusion. I was actually looking at the net worth and I heard the disruption go off and I thought I got a real hero. But not the case. Now they're going to engage. That's a real hero. Sadoy caught and blown up. No, actually using the familiar stuns quite nicely, buys him some time. And Demon will be able to blink. No, he won't. He's actually on cooldown. Quickfa, waveform is up. Now there's going to be a Ravage, though. And Demon pulling the trigger as soon as he saw RoX. And, yeah, that will do. Way 2. Notch is a double kill. They've got the creep wave. They've got 3 down. It looks like they've got the urge to push that tier 3, likely the target.
Well played by Demon. Found the opening. Expected heroes to try to help the other heroes, or Visage running away. There's a blink lift onto BZZ as well.
Dead.
And another nicely hit split earth. It's very easy to hit that too, because when it's instant like that, you can set up your own stuns. So nicely done. The Visage still has the 3 birds up, and it's actually kind of hurting Liquid a little bit. Called down to point, not very effective though. Only hits a few creeps, unfortunately. It is a low cooldown though.
Wow. Quickfa actually just went straight up Scotty.
Wow.
Yeah. So BKB
really
Scotty, that'll work. Banging away now on the tier 3. Invoker's still down for 20-some seconds. Still very early, 26 minutes. The cooldown timers or the respawn timers really helping out RoX.KIS at the moment. Looks like they might want to engage. Homing missiles on the way after way 2. Quickfa turns and just engages on Solo. He's got the Aegis to spin, but the rest of his team retreated there. I guess he's going to try to waveform here. And no, I'm just going to BKB and go man mode. Solo's got to run, but he's slowed from the Scotty. Waveform up. Only needed the mobility, not the damage. Now Yol's in trouble. There's the adaptive strike as well. Give him 2 as TC just rushing forward with his ulti ready, and there's that big slow. Demon maybe waiting to engage again. Now TC's actually going to TP away, so Solo forced into buying back, and his reappearance will be enough to force them back. But guess what's been going on up at top? Bulba wasn't even a part of that. Bulba just casually has taken down the tier 3 and the racks at top, so took every bit of RoX.KIS to hold things up as long as they did, and it still was a 4-on-5.
Bulba's a World of Warcraft player. He's just a PvEer at heart. Doesn't want to fight. He's a pacifist. Oh boy, I don't know why Gallback didn't just stun the Wraith King. Wraith King respawned and just TP'd, and Gallback was just like right next to him, and he was trying to stun someone else, but he didn't get it. He was not even close. I don't know who he was trying to stun, but that was really funny. Wraith King just TP'd right in front of all of them.
Demon lying in wait. He does have a refreshers, mind you, but he's going to have Ravage up in 5 seconds anyway. There's going to be Moonlight Shadow, and they want to make something happen. They're going to make a go on Solo. And there's the lift. Has Ravage, and yeah, they're going to expend it. Here comes TC. Followed up. Nope, a little late on the Hellfire Blast, or Wraithfire Blast. No, it's Hellfire. I don't know why I want to call it Wraithfire. But
it is Wraithfire.
Is it? I don't know why I want to... Yeah, you're right. Okay, hell with it. Whatever. Dumb caster.
Flyer. I don't know.
I'll just do like everyone else. Just call it his blast.
Yeah,
Skelly Blast.
The stun. The stun is what it's known to me.
And wait 2. Getting a lift off again. There's the Wraithfire Blast. See, now I'm thinking about it. I'm having to do it manually instead of just disconnecting and like just talking. Yeah, I'm thinking too much. It's like you are now manually breathing. You are now manually blinking. I'm a jerk. And
Quickfa. He's almost got his Eth Blade now too, which is going to be really scary. I like the Scotty pickup was so good.
Oh God. Got the disruption off. There's going to be the Ravage used off of the refresher. Solo ends up taking a spill. He's down for 80, and his buyback was already used. BCC's next. Go Black. Next on the list, and that's a godlike streak for Bulba. Only Sidoi still standing. Check that. BCC buys back, but he's going to get there in time to die, basically. Buyback from Bulba as well, and he's just going to hoof it back. GG's come out. So we're going to a game 3. RoX rolling over Team Liquid in game 1. Liquid, though, counter-punching just as brutally here in game 2. Another sub-30-minute game and another completely lopsided affair. As, yeah, I think we both agree. This time, this just felt more like a Liquid draft. It felt more like something they just get, something they're able to execute. RoX kind of run over.
Yeah, to be honest, actually, it felt more like an EG draft.
Yeah, imagine that.
Liquid was playing it, and this trialing, though, of Mirana plus Wraith King plus X, like X can be anything. In this case, it was Rubik, which I felt was really good here because it was good spells to steal. It just kind of owns Leshrac. Like, you get caught in a lift, you're dead. Like, you're pretty much dead.
Right.
You also get caught in a Wraithfire Blast, and you're dead. You get, and I don't know what the hell he was thinking there. First Blood, like he should not have been there whatsoever up in the top rune. Like,
you see that all the time too. Like, you see it happen all the time whenever
Yeah.
supports just hang around and try to pre-rune like that.
Like, it would make sense if he had like a ward up to the left of that cliff where he was standing, so he could see uphill with the supports. But even when you're not playing up against a Mirana, like, you should still be kind of weary about being there. But he was just like flaunting it.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't even up on the hill. He was just like walking around where the rune was. Like, hey, look at me go. And they just punished him. It was just like easy peasy first blood. So I don't know about the draft. It felt like a completely different RoX.KIS team. I felt this game.
Oh yeah, it's they definitely did not feel at all like the team that we saw in game 1, but hopefully they'll get it back together and we'll actually get to see the best out of both these teams looking ahead to game 3. Thanks for being a part of the broadcast, guys. I'm your host here at AC Chambers, and we're going the distance. Our last best of 3 in regular season group stage play, and yeah. I wouldn't want it any other way, as a matter of fact, as Liquid and RoX.KIS all knotted up. I'm AC, that's Trout. We'll be right back with the conclusion of this series coming up next. Stick with us.